517,107 children aged 5 to 11 years in the country have been registered for the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine by their parents up to 1st February under the PIC Kids program. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin in a tweet said the figure was about 15% of the total cohorts of 3.6 million. Khairi added he was hopeful that almost half of the kids in Malaysia would get vaccinated by the end of this month. The COVID-19 Immunisation Task Force for Children, CITFC, under his deputy, Dr. Noor Azmi Ghazali, would be working hard together with the Education Ministry. Khairi also said appointment booking links for the COVID-19 immunisation program for children were being pushed based on the date of registration, and parents who hadn't received a link would be getting it soon. The rollout of vaccine doses for children aged 5 to 11 years would kick off tomorrow in Klang Valley and hospitals and integrated vaccination centres. A total of 4 million children aged under 12 years in Malaysia is eligible for the vaccine. The Health Ministry reported 5,736 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the cumulative infections to 2,882,060. The fresh infections today is the highest in 62 days since 2nd December. As of yesterday, the hospital utilization rate stands at 60.2%, while the intensive care unit's occupancy rate is 49.9%. Meanwhile, the infectivity rate continued to inch upwards to 1.15, firmly putting the country's COVID-19 cases on an ascending trajectory. The value must be kept under 1.0 to prevent exponential growth in fresh infections. The Health Ministry will only publish today's breakdown of new cases by states after midnight on its COVID Now portal. The most significant surges were seen in Johor, Kedah and Pulau Pinang, where fresh infections spiked to the highest level in more than 100 days. The government's intervention to set the maximum retail price for standard chicken at RM8.90 starting this Saturday until 5th June can ensure stability in the prices of chicken and related food. In a statement, Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said if there is no intervention, the retail price of chicken would exceed RM10 per kilo, following the increase in the cost of poultry farming by 70%. He added that in the National Action Council on Cost of Living special meeting on the food production industry, the meeting was briefed on the chicken and egg production industry, which has received the impact of the sharp increase in feed input costs. On Monday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has announced that the maximum retail price for standard chicken was reduced by 20% on RM8.90 from the fixed ceiling price of RM9.10 after chairing the NACOL meeting. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Nantalinggi said retail ceiling price of chicken for Labuan, Sabah and Sarawak would be determined based on location. Meanwhile, KPDNHEP has also reminded traders against imposing conditions on the purchase of controlled goods at their premises. KPDNHEP Enforcement Director Azman Adam said the ministry viewed the matter seriously and stern action will be taken against errant traders, including by issuing them compounds and revoking their business license. Azman said several traders in Kelantan and Selangor were detected to have imposed conditions that required customers to make a purchase before they are allowed to buy subsidized cooking oil. He added KPDNHEP will implement continuous monitoring and checks to prevent traders from imposing such conditions on consumers. He also urged members of the public to channel information to KPDNHEP so that immediate action can be taken. Meanwhile, on the supply shortage of cooking oil and chicken eggs, Azman said it may be due to several factors, including the reopening of the economic sector and bulk purchases made by certain parties for victims of the recent floods. However, he said KPDNHEP would continue to monitor the situation to ensure cooking oil supply is adequate supply and that there are no irregularities. Coming up, government will not interfere in tabung haji RCI probe. Melaka Police have issued 4,279 summonses to the tune of 1.28 million ringgit for various traffic offences during Ops Selamat 17 conducted for 5 days from 28th January in conjunction with the Chinese New Year celebration. State Police Contingent Headquarters Traffic Investigations and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Hassan Basri Yahya said the summonses issued during the operation this year increased by 366 to 4,279 during the period compared to 3,913 issued during Ops Selamat 16 last year. He said most of the summonses issued were for beating the traffic lights and overtaking on the double lines, with 56 accidents occurring by beating the red light. Superintendent Hassan Basri said during that period too, 226,178 vehicles were recorded entering Melaka and 189,001 exiting the state, with an average of about 40,000 vehicles entering per day.
Ini purata kenderaan masuk ke negeri Melaka pada setiap hari adalah 42,000 ke atas. Jadi sepanjang daripada Ops Selamat ini sebanyak 261 kemalangan berlaku dibandingkan dengan Ops Selamat 16 273 dengan 1 kemalangan maut. Dan berbandingkan yang Ops Selamat 16 sebanyak 4 kemalangan maut.
He said this to reporters when met at the Aikro Toll Plaza today. The police have so far received 305 reports from victims of tornado-like freak storm that hit several areas in Ipoh, Perak last Sunday. Ipoh District Police Chief ACP Yahya Hassan advised the affected residents who have yet to lodge a report on the incident to do so at the nearest police station.
Nasihat saya kepada orang ramai, pertama sekali kepada mangsa-mangsa yang mengalami bencana ribut ini boleh tampil ke balai-balai polis yang berhampiran, membuat laporan polis untuk memudahkan mereka membuat tuntutan dan juga bantuan daripada kerajaan.
He said this to reporters at the presentation of the Keluarga Malaysia Musaadah Squad contribution to the storm victims at the relief centre at Dewan Tawas in Ipoh today. ACP Yahya said personnel from the motorcycle patrol unit and the patrol car unit have also been mobilised to the affected areas to ensure the safety of the residents' houses. Hundreds of homes were damaged during a tornado-like freak storm that hit Taman Desa Suri Cepur, Kampung Tawas, Taman Tasik Damai and Kampung Suri Klembang Tambahan Jaya at about 6 p.m. Several trees were uprooted while some electric poles collapsed or were damaged. However, no casualties or injuries were reported in the incident. The fire at more than 11 hectare site of the Pulau Burung Landfill in Jalan Biram, Pulau Pinang that began on 12 January was fully extinguished yesterday. The matter was shared by Housing and Local Government Minister Datuk Seri Rizal American in a post on his Facebook page today. He said the success was made possible with the help of all parties involved and expressed his gratitude to federal and state government agencies in extinguishing the fire. Meanwhile, State Government and Welfare Committee Chairman P. Poon Po said Pulau Pinang Department of Environment will continue to monitor the area to ensure there were no more hotspots that could trigger a fire at the landfill. The landfill fire incident was reported at about 5 p.m. on 12 January and nearby residents were asked to evacuate to a relief centre while 10 schools in the vicinity were ordered to close. The Prime Minister's Department JPM Religious Affairs will not interfere in the Royal Commission of Inquiry RCI's investigation into issues involving Lembaga Tabung Haji TH, which has commenced and held its first meeting on 26 January. Its Minister Senator Idris Ahmad said that JPM will also give its full trust to the setting up of the RCI in accordance with the Commission of Inquiry Act 1950, Act 119, to investigate investigate TH management and operational issues from 2014 to 2020. He said as the probe is ongoing, there will be no interference from any parties.
Saya sudah berjalan dan kita independen. Sebab tu mereka yang terlibat juga ialah mereka yang terdiri dari kalangan mereka yang kita anggap sebagai mempunyai ada autoriti dan ada integriti dan mempunyai kepercayaan di kalangan masyarakat awam yang baik.
He said this to reporters when met after the presentation of the Malaysian family Musaadah Squad financial aid to victims of a freak storm at the relief centre in Dewan Tawas in Ipoh today. On 19th January, the government has obtained the consent of Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah to the appointment of 6 RCI members to investigate TH management and operational issues from 2014 to 2020. Meanwhile, during the program today, Senator Idris said victims of a freak storm that caused damage to houses received cash assistance of RM300 and essential items worth RM100 per family to ease their burden. The level of cancer awareness among the people of Kelantan, especially in detecting cancer at an early stage, has not yet reached its maximum level. According to Raja Perempuan Zainab II Hospital HRPZ2 Director Dato' Dr. Salasawati Ghazali, thus far, only 60% of the Kelantan public are aware of the disease, and the Ministry of Health MOH and non-governmental organisations NGOs will intensify efforts to prevent and reduce the mortality rate.
Jadi mereka sama-sama menjadi penggerak kepada pesakit ini ataupun mendorong pada mereka, mungkin kesedaran ni suami tahu dah ada kesedaran ni dan dia kena pasti bahawa isteri ada rasa macam something yang change kan. So sepatutnya pasangan inilah insan yang bersama inilah yang menjadi orang kata penggerak untuk memastikan pesakit ini datang selain daripada memberi sokongan sehingga ke akhirlah.
She said this to reporters after the one-day program with cancer patients in conjunction with World Cancer Day 2022 in Kota Baru today. At the event, some 135 cancer patients from all over Kelantan received cash aid from Yayasan Kasih Cancer and Chronic YKKK and food baskets. Dr. Salasawati also called on cancer patients who have been diagnosed to immediately seek treatment instead of asking for a second opinion from family members and the community. She added that the hospital is focusing on 5 major types of cancer detected in the state, namely breast, cervical, colon, lung and blood, of which each category had more than 100 new cases recorded in HRPZ2. Drug distributors Johnson & Johnson to pay $519 million to settle US tribes' opioid claims. That and more coming up in our foreign segment. National badminton legend Datuk Rashid Siddiq expressed his hope that the national badminton lineup will be able to perform well in an effort to provide fierce resistance to other team in the Badminton Asia Team Championships BATC 2022 in Shah Alam from 15th to 20th February. He also wants to see the players prove they can reduce the pressure of playing at the home ground as well as show great team spirit in the tournament, which offers automatic spots in the 2022 Thomas and Uber Cup finals to be held in Bangkok, Thailand in May. When asked on issues related to last year's All England champion Lee Zijia, who was embroiled in a dispute with the Badminton Association of Malaysia BAM that has been amicably resolved, Datuk Rashid said that whether the players are professional players or under BAM, what is important is that they still represent the country and are able to win for the team. Zijia has been picked as national first singles for the BATC 2022. Apart from Zijia, 5 others shuttler, namely Ng Si Yong, Aidil Soleh Ali Sadikin, Leong Junhao, Lim Chong King and Jackie Kok Jing Hong to complete the lineup of national singles shuttlers for the biennial tournament. Meanwhile, Tokyo Olympics 2020 bronze medalists Erin Chia, So Woo Yik are set to lead the compatriots Goh Si Fei, Nur Izzuddin Rumsani and Man Wei Chong, Ti Kai Woon for the men's doubles. Concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, COVID-19 PIC kids vaccination to begin tomorrow. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.